somebody who is panicking, who's afraid of failure. The whole APC campaign, they are in panic mode.
That is what every civilized country has done. Why is Nigeria doing this differently if there is no hidden agenda? Why are we expected to change 3 trillion in a matter of weeks? And then you print only 300 billion worth of notes. Unless you want to create a crisis.
Is CBN open to further extension of deadline? I would say no. I'm sure that people are going to say, well, only last Tuesday I said no. But I want to say, unfortunately again, this time we will not be looking at extension of deadlines because we are the central bank, the deposit money banks, and other very important stakeholders. We are looking at areas where there is pressure, and we are doing everything possible to address those areas of pressure. And I mean, we've had cases where in some areas, some bank branches had some cash in their vaults because there was no demand for them. We've asked central bank officials, when reported, they move those monies away from those locations and move them to areas where there is pressure. So those are some of the logistical challenges that we face, and we're doing everything possible to address it. So I am not going to make any promise to anyone that that there will be any further extension of this deadline.
To our citizens, I have given approval to the CBN that the old 200 Naira banknotes be released back into circulation, and that it should also be allowed to circulate as legal tender with the new 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 Naira banknotes for 60 days from February 10th, 2023 to April 10th, 2023, when the old 200 Naira notes ceases to be legal tender.
No, to be honest, in the North, we don't consider Naira El-rufai a key player. To be honest, he is seen probably in the Southwest more than we see him here. To be honest, he is the most popular governor Kaduna State has ever had. This is the honest truth. He has retrenched a lot of people. He had made a lot of people poorer. Kaduna State has an unenviable record of the only state in this country where bandits abducted students from Greenfield University and killed 5 of them in cold blood because the governor and the government refused to engage. In the name of urban renewal, gentrification of Kaduna, he has pauperized people, demolished people's houses. He's the most unpopular governor in Kaduna. So if anybody in the South sees Naira El-rufai as a key player, in the North we don't. Yes, he talks a lot, but he's talking, I am looking at him as somebody who knew him a long time, and a physician. I see somebody who is panicking, who's afraid of failure. The whole APC campaign, they are in panic mode.
Right, Prof, let's just quickly go.
Gotten the traction that it has. Again, this is another thing that all the presidential candidates have agreed that it should be adopted and implemented.
So
and it will solve many of our
actions
problems.
in this government? Didn't the president agree with it?
I honestly don't know. I have not, for the past 3-4 years, I have stopped trying to understand how the federal government works. Okay? I just focused on trying to make my state work because that's my primary responsibility. There are some things that we agree with the president, and he says this will get done, and it doesn't get done. And those that refuse to get it done don't get punished.
So there are big questions when you say that. I mean, because right now people are wondering what is happening with your party's presidential campaign council. It doesn't appear that everybody is on the same page, singing from the same hymn sheet. So, for instance, if you have a president who is saying, I don't want to remove subsidy because it's going to hurt
the president is not on the ballot. The president has his tenure up to 29th May. He may not want to remove subsidy, but our party, if you look at our manifesto, we never promised that we're going to keep petroleum subsidy. We never did. Our party never promised that we'll redesign the currency. It's not in our manifesto.
Well,
so you need to separate,
yeah,
okay, the personal decisions of some people in the villa from the manifesto of the party. It's important to understand that.
Is there a division? Because the people in the villa, some people will argue that they're part of your party.
No, most of them are not. That's what is interesting. Most of them are not.
Is there a division between those around the president and those within your party right now, you know, which is affecting your party's presidential campaign council?
I believe there is. I believe that there are elements in the villa that want us to lose the elections because they didn't get their way. They had their candidate. Their candidate didn't win the primaries. And I think they are still trying to get us to lose the elections. And they are hiding behind the president's desire to do what he thinks is right. I'll give 2 examples. This petroleum subsidy, okay, which is costing the country trillions of naira, was something that we all agreed will be removed. In fact, I had a discussion with the president and showed him why it had to go. Because how can you have a capital budget of 200 billion for federal roads and then spend 2 trillion on subsidy? This was a conversation I had with the president in 2021 when the subsidy thing started rising. He was convinced. We left. It changed. Everyone in the government agreed. It changed, okay? Secondly, was issuing statements appealing for extension because he wanted to gain sympathy, because the policy was hurting APC and he wanted to gain sympathy. And we didn't want to come out and speak against our party and our president and our CBN governor. But this week, because of a mere extension of 10 days, he's turning around to say that don't extend, means there is something. He is clearly benefiting from this pain that Nigerians are going through. Every day, till today, I have seen protests in Lagos. I have reports of people in Kaduna that cannot buy food and they cannot sell because there are no currency notes around. But the presidential candidate of the PDP is saying, don't extend, because he's gaining from it. The incitement of people against the APC is, in his view, to his advantage. And this incitement is stronger in the north, in northern Nigeria, where Atiku hopes to benefit from. That's one. Secondly, you should know that the presidential candidates of other parties, other than NNPP, have very close relations with some banks, and they even own some of them. So they can get the currency while we can't. So this is why he's saying this. And I want Nigerians to understand very carefully how someone who last week was saying extend it is now saying don't extend. What is there about extending the time for market women and villagers and fishermen to extend their currency that amounts to rigging election? If Atiku Abubakar or anybody is talking about, oh yes, if you extend, there will be vote buying, is Naira the only currency that you can buy votes? You can go across to Niger and buy CFA, CFA franc. If the dollar is too big, you can go across and buy CFA franc and use it. And CFA franc, after elections, can be converted into Naira, the new currency. So that's not a solution to vote buying.